We're gonna watch a YouTube video about a data challenge or something.
My mortal enemy, Kenji, challenged me to see if I could analyze his data better than he could.
I want to find out if you
Avery
can analyze my data better than I can. For the first time ever, I'm creating a community project on Kaggle. I thought it'd be fun to publish some real data, my own YouTube data in fact, and see what everyone comes up with.
Challenge accepted. And spoiler alert, I created the world's best project for Kenji. I built this awesome Tableau public dashboard that basically shows all of his YouTube stats on one page. But let me show you how I actually made it. So I started by going where Kenji had his data, which is on Kaggle.com. I've used Kaggle quite a bit in this series. Hopefully you're familiar with Kaggle. Basically, he gave us some context up here. He's been trying to make good data science videos since November of 2017, and he wants to basically give the community a project, help everyone understand the growth of my YouTube community and think about it, ways it can be improved. So here's some of the things that he was looking for. What are the themes of the comment data? What type of video titles and thumbnails drive the most traffic? Who is his core audience and what are they interested in? What types of videos lead to most growth? What types of content are people engaging with or watching the longest? Advanced projects could be creating a chatbot to respond to common comments when basically it's a common question, pulling sentiment from thumbnails and titles and comparing that with performance. Data I'd like to add over time, video descriptions, video subtitles, actual video data. So there's basically 4 types of files that he's giving us. He got this via the YouTube.
Hold on, Raj, you never played League of Legends? What the fuck?
API. There's the aggregated metrics by video, aggregated metrics by video and with country and subscriber status, video performance all time, and all comments. Okay. Basically, we have
as an esports god, I feel like that's one of the games you have to be a god, knowledgeable in.
Of what the data looks like. The first data set we're going to use is the aggregated metrics by country and subscriber status. Sorry, mouthful there. We showed all 15 columns. This basically has multiple video titles. So you see here's the video title. Here's the...
Okay, we don't care about the data description, right, chat? This is all just we don't care, right?
External video ID, the video length. So these are all going to be the same. Thumbnail length going to be the same. And then we get into the country codes. This is by country. So here's the country code. Is subscribed. That's interesting. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because then we have count per view. So this is how many views they're getting inside of that country, how many likes were added from there, how many dislikes were added from there, users subscribed from there, unsubscribed from there, the amount that they watched, like the average percentage that they watched, the average watch time, and the number of comments that came from that country. So that's the first data set we're going to be using. So once again, basically each row is a combination of a certain title.
I'm skipping the data descriptions.
Notice that this video published, the number of comments added, number of dislikes, estimated revenues is he. But if not, you open up Tableau Public, how much revenue per 1,000 views is he getting? Open up Tableau Public and import them. I've already imported these 2 files, obviously, but if not, you can go to data, new data source. And since both of these are downloaded from Kaggle, right here, you can just hit download. That downloads them as CSVs. You can just go ahead and upload as CSVs. That's just a text file basically, and choose whatever CSV that you're interested in. Now, how did I make this dashboard? Well, you'll notice in the top left corner, we have the YouTube logo. That is just a transparent logo that is used via the image down here. Let's see, image, right? And you can resize it. And this is just an image of Ken that you can resize, basically. I stole that from his YouTube channel, I think. Then this is actually a giant text that says Kenji's YouTube dashboard. I use spaces to move stuff to the right. Basically, you see that just moved to the right. And I made the background black, so it has all of this kind of like this black theme to the background. I think I just clicked on this right here to do so. Or maybe it was somewhere over here. Can't remember. Okay, then I have the total views, the estimated revenue, the watch time. These are all KPIs that I made in a very similar way. You, of course, need to click on create a new worksheet. This worksheet, for instance, if we're going to do total views, which total vids, sorry, that's the number of videos. So for example, you go here, you look at total videos, and to recreate what I did, open up a new worksheet, right? Take the video titles, put it inside the text. These are all the different video titles that Ken has done. And instead of showing the actual videos, you do the actual count here. And there's that value of 223, right click on it, format, and you can change these like the size.
This is just like point and click group buying.
Size of all the text and the stuff basically inside of here to make it look like we did here. Put a black background, add the name, which is instead of sheet 9 total vids. We do that for the estimated revenue, the watch hour time. Instead of using count, we use the sum there. We use the sum for the estimated revenue. For views, we use sum as well, but that's all basically the same. Once you've made one, you can right click on it and you can hit duplicate and just change the numbers to however the fields you want it to be. So that's how you make this full top bar, picture text with the background, and then dragging these individual text things that are right here onto the page into the top right corner. Next, we just have a basic time filter. This is pretty easy to add. This time filter is going to be based off of the dates, and it's going to affect all the visualizations on the screen. So that if you want to just look at, like, for instance, looks like the last 6 months of 2021, you can do so. Or if you want to look at the beginning of Ken's, YouTube career, you can kind of see what's going on. So I really like this basic date filter. It just makes things a lot easier to zoom in and zoom out of certain, regimens of Ken's career. One of the things that Ken wanted us to look at was what gets clicked on. So I created this click-through rate bar chart, which basically shows the impression click-through rate. Basically, it means for every 100 people that saw this, 11 people clicked on it, which might seem low, but that's actually a great click-through rate, okay? So this is basically displaying all the different click-through rates and the title of the actual film. So what you see here is I have the click-through rate sum right here. It's basically just an average. In fact, we could change that to average, nothing would change. And we're adding the video title to the rows. It's not super important, I don't think. Let's just try taking it off. Hold on, let's see. Oh, it is important. Sorry. We definitely need that. That's what's making it go downward, okay? Then we're adding a annotation that is the video title, as well as we're coloring by the number of views. So basically, if it's really red, like you'll see down here, that means it got a lot of views. So up here, even though this has a really high click-through rate, it has very low views, only 60 views, I guess, at this time. So it doesn't get viewed that much. So it's kind of interesting to see how things are, click-through versus seen. Like this basically gives really interesting outliers. So like, for instance, this didn't have very good click-through rate, but it had a lot of views. Very interesting, right? Some other things that might stand out, lots of just normal stuff right here. Data certificate versus boot camp versus master's degree. How I learned data science if I had to start over. The best free data science courses no one's taught. It basically just makes things stand out, which I think is pretty interesting. And we slap that on our dashboard over here on the left-hand side so you could scroll. All right, does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Next, let's move over to the likes versus subscriber gained. This is a scatter plot, basically. So what I'm plotting here is just the subscribers gained from that video against the likes for that video. And one thing I did here was I actually made this a logarithmic, there we go, logarithmic y-axis. So you can see that it goes from 200 to 500 to 1,000 to 2,000. That's just because this is such a big outlier. So when you have outliers, logs can often help it make a little bit more sense. I think to not make it one, you somehow click over here, hit edit axes, and you're going, yeah, right here, logarithmic, turn it off. See, that just doesn't look as good as when you turn the logarithmic on. It just lets you see things a little bit better. And on the bottom down here, I don't think I have it as logarithmic. We could try clicking on it, edit axis, go to logarithmic here, and then you get more of a scatter plot, which is kind of interesting. Maybe we'll do that. Makes it a little easier to see everything, basically. But I don't know, maybe not, because I like to see those other two as outliers, because they really are outliers. Those are huge outliers that are interesting. So basically we can see on this video right here, and by the way, I have the video title in the hover, How I Learned Data Science If I Had to Do It Over Again, got 46,000 subscribers, which is crazy. I only got that many likes too. Okay, it's 10,000 subscribers, the best data science courses nobody's talking about. 3 data science proven projects for beginners. Got a lot of subscribers gained as well. So this is just like a great way to try to like see how the effects of the video for Ken. I also made this subscribers over time graph, which basically shows his cumulative subscribers over the days and also when that video was posted. So you see this is the really big one that we talked about, right? Wait, right here at the top. How I learned data science if I had to start over again, 97,000 subscribers at the time. So we can go ahead and look at that graph.
Great. I feel like this is a good walkthrough of like a Tableau project that's end to end. Like it doesn't have to be just this, right? In terms of like analyst level work, this is very much what you would see from your typical big company, right? Like if you're coming in as an analyst on a particular team that isn't necessarily the data science team, you're going to be doing a lot of dashboarding. And this is exactly what that is. This is dashboarding, right? This is taking data that already exists and making it accessible to whomever needs the access to this kind of data, whether it's Ken, Jee, someone who's looking for someone to explore this kind of data and give him new insights that he hasn't seen before. Or if it's a gigantic company looking for marketing data, if it's a company looking for store-to-store sales, if they do some sort of store franchising, if it's a company that's working off a particular product or multiple product lines, seeing the health of their product in different forms, whether it's sales or whether it's some sort of supply chain, purchasing, whatever it might be, right? You can take all that data gets logged in a database, and you can aggregate and create things like this, right? Things that allow you to access
basically
the data.
This is just going to be the sum in the change, right? Yeah, so it's the sum of the sum.
So this particular
basically makes it running, right? And
this particular
the
video is less about,
and we also included
the actual project and more about how you build Tableau
going on as you hover above. And last we have this
projects that look
video. Now this watch rate video
decent,
is complicated.
right?
Basically, it's the average percent viewed. So this means 100% people finish the video 100%. This would mean like the average was, in this case, 36%. And the watch length, how many minutes the video actually is on the left-hand side. So if you multiply this times this, that would give you the total watch time for those particular videos. Now the size is in the change in subscribers. So this big red one is how I could learn data science if I had to start over again. But this is kind of interesting because it lets you see, oh wait, the size is that and the color is that as well, I believe, right? Both those are the same. So unless you just kind of find interesting big circles at different times and different spaces and try to think through, why did this video do well? What's special about this video? Did this title have an impact? Did the people like the topic? Just like basically a way to explore this data set a little bit more visually. So hopefully this video showed you, yes, I can analyze data better than Ken Jee. If you guys also want to analyze data better than Ken Jee, I'll give you this entire dashboard that you could start with, have as a starting point, and then build off of. All you need to do is click the link in the description down below that says basically get the code and the data and the resources for this project, and you'll also get it for 29 other projects because I am doing 30 data science projects in 30 days. This is day 21 or something like that. I've lost track of it all. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit subscribe. Bye.
That was good.
Hold on, let's see.
That was a fun one. Definitely more tutorial based than anything. I think like Avery ends up doing himself a little disservice in terms of SEO here, right? Like just the content. I wasn't expecting this to be the content, but the title doesn't really tell me like, hey, you're going to go through a Tableau walkthrough how-to. Like nothing in this screams like I'm going to learn a fuck ton about Tableau right now, you know? So if that was more on the front, maybe we would have come into this with a little different perspective. Because I honestly thought it was going to be like, he's going to find some silver bullet that says what Ken Jee's fucking statistics were all about, right? But it wasn't. It was just displaying the empirical evidence. So it's a little of like a bait and switch. I was hoping for some advanced analytics, and ended up getting an advanced dashboard for analytics. But overall, I think this is interesting. I'm glad that this kind of stuff does exist out there in terms of like tutorial stuff. This is something that anyone who's learning Tableau can reference and kind of start their own shit pretty quick. But as I've said before, right, like a lot of the stuff out there is, a lot of the data content that's out there is like this, right? Like I always tend to complain about this world because, and I like Avery. I think Avery does a lot of interesting content, but videos like this, and like videos that I'm about to start producing, it doesn't matter who's doing it, right? And that's the issue with any of this. And like some of this is really damning evidence, right? Like when he was talking about what particular videos were most subscribed for him, those videos were specifically videos that weren't related to how-to stuff, right? His tutorial related work, Kenji's tutorial related work, doesn't really do much in terms of numbers. But his like hot take stuff does. And that's sort of the difference between content creation, where you're just like throwing out your crazy opinion out there, versus like tutorial related content where anyone can do the same content. He's diversified a good amount of his content, and that's what's important, to have a diversity of content. But him specifically, like look at the things that are getting him lots of engagement.
Exclamation mark tutorial.
Yeah, that's like the stuff that's getting him like actual high watch rate is stuff that's not about how to learn something. It's the opposite, right? Like here's like a demo of something for like a CS class, low views, and it's supposed to be digestible, right? Here's the secret data scientists don't want you to know. Higher views, low watch rate, so it's watchable. A lot of people end up watching the majority of it, right? So, and you can see my episode here. No one fucking watched it, and it's really long. So people don't really care about like the how-tos, right? But people really do care about like hot takes.